जय गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। मुरली मनोहर करुणा सागर।
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 जय गोवर्धन धारी।
जय गोवर्धन धारी।
जय गोवर्धन धारी।
जय गोवर्धन धारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
यशोदनंदन ब्रिज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन ब्रिज जन रंजन।
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 यमुना तीर वन झारी।
यमुना तीर वन चारी।
यमुना तीर वन झारी।
यमुना तीर वन चारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा Krishna, Hari Hari.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. तुम हमारे हे प्रभु जी, तुम हमारे हो, तुम हमारे ही रहोगे, हो मेरे प्रियतम, हो मेरे प्रियतम. Let me warmly welcome each and everyone. Namaste, Sitaram. Welcome to Kuladevalai Pitri Tirtha Shrine, a name given to this shrine by my brother Anand. Kuladev means the place of the family deity. Pitri, Tirtha, the journey of the ancestors. And we have been here for the last 4 years since this shrine was constructed in honor of not just our ancestors, but our ancestors of the village, ancestors of the country, all the ancestors who have made us what we are today. So for tonight is the second night, and again, I warmly welcome you on behalf of Anand, Geeta, Nandi and myself and the Saraswati Kirtan Mandali, and we hope that you are going to enjoy the evening with us once again. I also want to warmly welcome those who are looking on to us on the Facebook and other social media. Wherever you are, I saw last night there were a couple of people from London. So they had to be in the early hours of the morning with us, but it was very nice of them to share with us. I will share one more bhajan with you, and then Anand will share a couple of bhajans, and of course he will then be delivering his second discourse for tonight. Wherever you take me, Lord, I will go. O Nath, O Prabhu, where you are, I will stay there. This life of ours is dedicated to you. You are our everything. Loving you, Lord, whom can I tell and describe? I would neither complain nor make any petition. My life is in your hands. Do what you want. Give me happiness or give me sorrow, whatever. I will be happy. All my arrangements for my future are in your hands. Whatever you prescribe and say, I will do. And I will go wherever you take me and lead me. जहाँ ले चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ नाथ रख दोगे, जहाँ नाथ रख दोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा, जहाँ मैं चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ नाथ रख दोगे, जहाँ नाथ रख दोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा. समर्पित शरण में तुम्हारे, तुम ही मेरे सर्वस्व, तुम ही न कोई शिकायत, न कोई है अर्जी, कर लो करा लो जो है तेरी मर्जी। न कोई शिकायत, न कोई है अर्जी, कर लो करा लो जो है तेरी मर्जी। खुशी दो ये गम जो भी, खुशी जो ये गम जो भी, मैं खुशी से रहूँगा जहाँ भी चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ नाच रख दोगे, जहाँ नाच रख दोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहाँ मैं चलूँगा। दयानाथ दयाने मेरी अवस्था, तेरा हाथ अब मेरी सारी व्यवस्था। दयानाथ दयाने
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जानकी जीवन राम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जानकी जीवन राम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जानकी जीवन राम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जानकी जीवन राम।
पतित पावन राम हरे जय, राघव सुंदर राम।
पतित पावन राम हरे जय, राघव सुंदर नाम।
दीनोद्धरना राम हरे जय, मारुति सेवित राम।
दीनोद्धरना राम हरे जय, मारुति सेवित राम।
दीनोद्धरना राम हरे जय,
मारुति सेवित राम। दीनोद्धरना राम हरे जय, मारुति सेवित राम।
जय जय राम जय रघुराम,
जानकी जीवन राम।
जय जय
जय रघुराम, जानकी जीवन राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम,
जानकी जीवन राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, जानकी जीवन राम।
राघव सुंदर राम।
पतित पावन राम हरे जय राघव सुंदर नाम।
दीनों धरना राम हरे जय मारुति से विठला।
दीनों धरना राम हरे जय मारुति से विठला।
जय जय राम जय रघुराम जानकी जीवन राम। जय जय राम जय रघुराम जानकी जीवन राम। श्री राम जय जय राम जानकी जीवन राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम जानकी जीवन राम।
भज ले राम का नाम तू भज ले राम नाम। भज ले राम का नाम तो भज ले राम नाम। भज ले राम का नाम तो भज ले राम नाम। भज ले राम का नाम तो भज ले राम नाम। राम नाम के दो अक्षर में राम नाम के दो अक्षर में राम नाम के दो अक्षर में
राम नाम के दो अक्षर में
तीनों लोक चारों धाम भजो रे भाई रघुराई बेड़ा पार करेंगे राम। भज ले राम का नाम तो भज ले राम नाम। भज ले राम का नाम तो भज ले राम नाम। राम बिना कछु और न भाए। जब जब मन का धीरज टूटे जब जब मन का धीरज टूटे राम नाम हो तो पर आए।
राम नाम हो तो पर आए।
जब तक तन है ये जीवन है जब तक तन है जब तक तन है ये जीवन है कर ले बस ये काम भजो रे भाई रघुराई बेड़ा पार करेंगे राम। भज ले राम का नाम तो भज ले राम नाम। भज ले राम का नाम तो भज ले राम नाम। मेरे मन मंदिर के भीतर लखन सिया संग राम विराजे। मेरे मन मंदिर के भीतर लखन सिया संग राम विराजे। सावली सूरत जब जब देखो सांसों की मंजीरा बाजे। बड़े भाग्य जो मेरे मैंने बड़े भाग्य जो मेरे मैंने पाया रे वरदान, भजो रे भाई रघुराई, बेड़ा पार करेंगे राम। भज रे राम का नाम, तो भज ले राम नाम। भज ले राम का नाम, तो भज ले राम नाम। सुर मुनि जिसकी महिमा गाते, जिसके छूने भर से ही तो, जिसके छूने भर से ही तो पत्थर भी जीवन पा जाते, पत्थर भी जीवन पा जाते। नाम उसी का रटता है मन, नाम उसी का नाम उसी का रटता है मन। सुबह हो या शाम, भजो रे भाई रघुराई, बेड़ा पार करेंगे राम। भज ले राम का नाम, तो भज ले राम नाम। भज ले राम का नाम, तो भज ले राम नाम। केवट को भी गले लगाया, केवट को भी शबरी के जूठे बेरों में, शबरी के जूठे बेरों में परम भक्ति का रस जो पाया, परम भक्ति का रस जो पाया। उसके लिए है एक बराबर, उसके लिए है एक बराबर, निर्धन और धनवान। भजो रे भाई रघुराई, बेड़ा पार करेंगे राम। भज रे राम का नाम, तो भज रे राम नाम। भज रे राम का नाम, तो भज ले राम नाम। भज रे राम का नाम, तो भज रे राम नाम। भज रे राम का नाम, तो भज रे राम नाम।
In honor of our Kuladev, the family deity Hanumanji, we shall chant Hanuman Chalisa at this point in time. Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Bharno Raghuvar Vimal Yashu जो ध्यायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। भली बुरी विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमत के संगी। कंचन वरण विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केशरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाए संजीवन लखन दिलाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति की बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिया भरहि सम भाई सहस वदन तुम्हरो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ गावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद शारद सहित ईशा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाँ ते कवि को भी दे कह सकै कहाँ ते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाए राज पर दीना तुम्हारे मन विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर बल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मिली मुख माही जल दिलांग अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम मनोरथ तुम्हारे देते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुफल है तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आप तेज समारो आप तीनों लोक हाथ के कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नाश रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन पल पावे चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंतकाल रघुवर पुर जाए जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाए और देवता चेतन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलवीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो शतबार पाते कर जोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यहाँ पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होई सिद्धि साखी
गौरीशा तुलसीदास सदा हर चेरा कीजनाथ हृदय महादेरा कीजनाथ हृदय महादेरा कीजनाथ हृदय महादेरा
पावन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय।
वर्णानामर्थसङ्घानां रसानां छन्दसामपि मङ्गलानां च कर्तारौ वन्दे वाणी विनायकौ भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम् वन्दे बोधमयं नित्यं गुरुं शङ्कररूपिणौ यमाश्रितो हि वक्रोऽपि चन्द्र सर्वत्र वन्द्यते सीतारामगुणग्रामं पुण्यारण्यविहारिणौ वन्दे विशुद्धविज्ञानौ कवीश्वर कपीश्वरौ उद्भव स्थिति संहार कारिणीं क्लेशहारिणीं सर्वश्रेयस्य कारीं सीतां नतोऽहं रामवल्लभम् नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीता समारोपितवामभाग्यं पानौ महासायक चारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम्।
जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करिवर वदना जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करिवर वदना करहु यदु रहसो जोगिराशि शुभ गुण सदना मुख होई वाचा अंगुष्ठय गिरिवर गहना जासु कृपा सुदया प्रभु सकल कलिमल दहना नील सरोवर श्याम करुणा करुण बाली जनयना करहु सुमम उड़धाम सदा क्षीर सागर शयना कुंद इंदु समदे कुमार मन करुणा हयना
बंदो गुरु पर
कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि महामोह तम गुण दासु वचन तविकर निकर श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम.
Sitaram, my dear brothers and sisters, I joined my brother Suraj in extending a very special and joyful welcome to each of you tonight. This is the second, but the final night of 2 nights of Kirtan, Bhajan and the Kathas from Manas. And so we are very delighted that all of you have come to join with us tonight. And I also want to welcome all who are joining us on the online broadcast. Welcome to each of you wherever you may be joining from. It's always a great source of joy and delight to be with the members of Saraswati Kirtan Mandali for so many decades. This is a great gift to me, the time that I can spend with them, with Balrupji, with his dear wife Uma, with Devika, and of course Rajesh, who beautifully conceals all my mistimings with his delightful and soft touch on the tabla. So I'm very honored that all of you are here to join with us for this satsang. As I said last night, I am focusing in these 2 satsangs on 4 kathas from Manas. And these are all kathas that describe our human meeting, our human encounter, our human experience of God. What are the situations in which we meet the divine? And so last night I discussed 2 of these kathas. The first one was the katha of Sabari. Sabari, as I said, came from a tribal community, the Sabaras, and they were forest dwellers. But her whole community was regarded as an untouchable community. Tulsidas says they were jati-heen. They were among the lowest caste. People avoided them, people shunned them, people did not want to have any contact with her. But Shabari was a very deeply spiritual woman, and her guru, she had a guru, Matanga Rishi, who promised her that God would come to her, that her love for the divine will be like a magnet that will bring God to her. Despite the fact that she was rejected by everyone else, but not rejected by the divine. And so Shabari lived in a small hut, an ashram in the forest by herself, practicing her tapas, her religious disciplines, with great hope, with great faith, with great trust that her guru's promise will be fulfilled. And it was fulfilled, as we saw, when Sri Ram came to her home. And she recognized him immediately. And we discussed what she said to him and his response, because she was very worried that he would also perhaps reject her like others. So she said, Kehi vidhiya stuti karau tumhari. what can I say to you, I am jatihin, I am a low caste woman, and I have no words. I'm not a learned person. I don't have the words of scriptures to praise you. How can I praise you? Adhamate, adhama, adhama. I am the lowest of the low. What can I say to you? And then he tells her, Sabari manav ek bhagati karanatha, that I see only love. And you are full and rich in love. So he not only assures her of his love, but he restores her dignity, her sense of self-value as a woman. As I said, she was not an IP, she was not an important person. She was not a VIP, a very important person. She was not a VVIP, a very, very important person. She was an LLLUP, a low, unimportant person, but not in the eyes of God, but not in the divine eyes. And this was an expected meeting. She expected that Ram would come to her. And then we saw, the next katha I spoke about is the meeting between Hanumanji and Sri Ram. So Sabari is an example of someone expecting to meet God. Every day she would get up. Is it today that Sri Ram would come? So she lived with this hope, this faith, this trust that her love will bring him, and it did. But sometimes the meeting with God is an unexpected one. And this was the experience of Hanumanji. He was living on this mountain, as I said, the Rishyamukh mountain with Sugriv, because they were in exile. You know what had happened in the Ramayana. There was a conflict between Bali and Sugriv. Sugriv had to give up the kingdom and they were living in exile. One morning they saw these two young men walking along the forest path. They didn't know who they were, so Sugriv sent him, please go and find out who are these two young men, because I suspect they are from Bali. So go on, discover who they are and give me some sign, so that if they are indeed from Bali, we will flee this place. We will move away quickly. And Hanuman went to meet these two young men. And he did not expect to meet God that day, that he would meet Sri Ram on that day. So he didn't choose the time or the place. And immediately, as we saw, he did not recognize that he was in the presence of God, because he was asking Ram to say who he is. Kotu masyama lagaura sharira, shatri rupa firahu banabira, kathina bhumi komal padagami, kavana hetu banabicharahu swami. Who are you? Dark in color, walking this forest path. Tell me, who are you? And then Ram spoke, Kosale sadasarat ke jaye, hum pitu vachana mani bana aaye. That, we are the sons of Dasarat. And Ram answers this question, and then Tulsidas says, then alone, Prabhu Pahechane, he recognized. So Sabari was expecting Ram to come, and she recognized him immediately. Hanumanji was not expecting. He didn't recognize immediately until Ram spoke to him. So he was very troubled by the fact that he was questioning Ram, who are you? And so he became so fearful. And we have that beautiful prayer of him, asking to be forgiven for not immediately knowing that he was in the presence of God. So that's the example of an unexpected meeting that can happen anytime, any place. We must always be. If you are a devotee of God, you have to live mindfully, knowing that the experience of God, the encounter with God, can happen anytime and in any place. It's not always planned. This was an unplanned Hanuman's meeting with Sri Ram was an unplanned meeting. So tonight, I want to, within our time, to look at two kathas. I will look briefly at one and spend more time with the other. And the one I want to speak about briefly, because the second one is so beautiful, I want to give some more time to it. But I want to say something about Vibishana, because he also represents a different kind of meeting with Ram. So there's the expected meeting with God, there is the unexpected meeting with God with Hanumanji, and then there is the example of Vibishana. How will we describe his meeting with Sri Ram? So you know very well that Vibishana was the brother of Ravana. You know that well. And Ravana's decision, Ravana's choice, to seize, to abduct Sita, put the whole state of Lanka in chaos, in danger. This is what happens. When a leader makes a wrong choice, when a leader makes an immoral choice, it's not only the leader who suffers. When you are the leader of a country, every choice you make has an impact on the entire state that you lead. So the state of Lanka was in chaos because of the choice made, the immoral choice made by Ravana. But, he was never a leader to admit an error or to reverse a course of action, to change a course of action upon which he was embarked. And the consequence was that a conflict was imminent. He could not be persuaded otherwise, so conflict and war came to his doorsteps by his own choice. So in the face of this imminent conflict, this imminent war, Ravana called a meeting of his cabinet, summoned his cabinet, sat down, and then all his ministers with him, and asked, "What shall we do? What shall we do?" And then Tulsidas says, almost everyone, "Te sab hase mastakare rahu." They all laughed and said, "Master, you be relaxed. There's nothing to be done. Mastakaro, maskaro. Don't be uneasy." They laughed. Why? You have always won. You have always won. You have never lost in a conflict. You have always won. And who are these? These are mere human beings with a few animals. Why are you worried about them? So they praise him. Most praise him, telling him what he wanted to hear. Everything is fine. There is no problem. There's no need to do anything differently. Their words dripped with hypocrisy, because even as Tulsidas said, these are cabinet members who praised him only in his presence. There are many leaders in our world like that today. You want me to praise you, I'll praise you, but I'll do it only in your presence. Outside of his presence, we imagine that they were more honest about the dangers, but they would not speak about it publicly to him. They all knew his flaws, his defects as a leader, but they put also their own interest, because they were enjoying positions of power and positions of authority in Ravana's cabinet. Whether one is a leader, I say to all of you personally, whether you are a leader or you are a person in a family or community, you should always make sure that there is at least one person in your life, at least one person in your life, whoever that person may be, who will always tell you the truth, and to whom you will always listen when the truth is spoken. Because if you don't have one person like that in your life, you are in deep trouble. We all need at least one person who we give the freedom to tell us the truth as they see it, knowing that they will not be punished by us. At least one person who is comfortable to speak the truth to us. And this was Ravana's problem. So some praised, like hypocrites, they praised him in his presence. Some kept silent, didn't say anything in the cabinet meeting. So that's how, I guess that's quite a common cabinet situation. There are those who will praise, and then those who will just sit quietly and not say anything. But there were a few. As I said, you must have one person who speaks the truth to you and to whom you will listen. There were his wife. Mandodari was a person like that. And she told him as she saw it. She spoke to him. But he then went on to make some what we will call today, very sexist comments to her. Oh, you are just a woman. You women are always frightened about everything. So he dismissed his wife because, he didn't take what his wife said very seriously. Oh, you're just a fearful woman. Why should I listen to you? But then we come to Vibishana, his brother, who was sitting in that cabinet meeting. Vibishana sat next to Ravana because he was the brother of the king. He had a privileged seat in the cabinet. He sat next to Ravana, and he stood up and spoke to him with love, but with courage and with truthfulness. He said, you are the main cause of this problem. By your immoral choices, you have put the entire state of Lanka in danger. And there is an easy solution, Vibishana said. Just let her go. Return her. Ram is loving, Ram is kind. He will forgive you. This is the kind of being he is. Let her go, Ravana. Return her to Ram. But his brother would not listen. Vibishana was a loyal member of Ravana's administration. But he was that kind of person, loyal to the leader, but also loyal to a higher truth. He was also committed to a higher value, a moral value, an ethical value from which he spoke. And Ravana could not understand that his brother could be both loving but also critical. Some leaders can't understand that there may be people in their cabinet who are loyal but can be honest about what your defects are and can speak critically also. They don't understand that those two things can be combined. A person can be loyal but also honest in his or her opinion and be critical. And he told him, it's out of fear that these people are not telling you what is really going on. Ravana, all of these people are not speaking the truth to you because they are afraid. and they're also enjoying the benefits of working for your administration. But I feel compelled to tell you what I have seen and heard. So please, let us change the course of this action. So he spoke what we say today, he spoke truth to power. He spoke truth to power in an open cabinet meeting. He didn't wait to speak after he left the administration, like many people do in the United States. After you leave, then you write your book, and then you say what's everything that is going wrong. Vibishana spoke on that day to his brother. And what was his reaction? You just think of it. This is the reaction of many leaders today. Basically, he said, look, I appointed you. I gave you this seat next to me. How could you criticize me? You are here because of me, Ravana said to him. You owe everything to me, Vibishana. And today you stand in this cabinet meeting and you are critical about my choices. So he judged people basically by their loyalty to him. Those who were loyal to him were the favored ones. He saw disloyalty as treacherous. He couldn't understand it. Dissent or disagreement is disloyalty. That is the Ravana leader mentality. So having publicly spoken this truth to his brother, Vibishana could have quietly withdrawn, go back to his home in a prosperous kingdom of Lanka and choose to be an observer. Okay, I did my best. I couldn't persuade my leader, so I'll just stay quietly and I wouldn't say anything. And we would still perhaps regard Vibishana as a heroic person. But he did something more. In a conflict between morality and immorality, ethical action and unethical action, one cannot be neutral. One cannot remain neutral. And so Vibishana had a choice to make. He would either serve Ayodhyapati or he would serve Lankapati. He would serve Lankapati, his brother, or he would serve Ayodhyapati, Ram. And he felt called to offer himself in service to Ram. And so to meet Ram, Vibishana had to break that relationship. So this is what the point I want to make. Here is a meeting with Ram, but for that to happen, he had to give up what we call a toxic relationship. He had to break a family bond. He had to abandon his brother because that relationship was standing in the way of his encounter with Ram. He had to leave his country. He had to leave his brother and all the comforts. He was a very wealthy man. He was, as I said, his brother's, Ravana was the king. He was a prince in Ayodhya. He had to give it all up. He was a prince in Lanka. He had to give it all up in order to meet Sri Ram. So sometimes, in the case of Shabari, it was expected. In the case of Hanuman, it was unexpected. But sometimes, in order to come to God, we have to make moral choices. We have to sometimes end relationships that are harmful. And this was a harmful relationship. We have to end harmful relationships. Even sometimes they are family relationships. And sometimes we have to move, as he had to do, to be with Ram. So he's an example of someone who was willing to give up and make moral choices in order to encounter Sri Ram. As I said, he could not serve two masters. He could not serve both Ravana and Ram. He had to choose, and he chose. To gain God, he had to give up Ravana. To be with Ayodhyapati, as I said, he had to give up Lankapati. And I don't want you to think it was an easy choice, because it was not. It was a risky choice, because Vibishana really did not know how he would be received. And when he came over to Ram, he was held as prisoner by those who served Ram, because he came from Lanka. This is a man coming from Lanka, and we are in conflict with Lanka. And before they brought him to Ram, they were discussing, what should we do with him? He couldn't be up to any good. Many of them thought, until Hanuman intervened and said, no, he's come, take him to Ram, let Ram decide. So he put himself, at Ram's feet. And we have in Ramcharitmanas the very beautiful words that Vibishana spoke when he met God, when he met Sri Ram. नाथ दसानन कर मैं ब्राता निशिचर वंश जन्म सुरत्राता नाथ दसानन कर मैं ब्राता निशिचर वंश जन्म सुरत्राता सहज पाप प्रिय तामस देहा सहज पाप प्रिय तामस देहा जता उलू कही तम पर नेहा श्री राम जय जय राम 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 श्रवण सुजसु सुनियायेहु श्रवण सुजसु सुनियायेहु प्रभु भंजन भव भीर श्रवण सुजसु सुनियायेहु प्रभु भंजन भव भीर त्राहि त्राहि आरती हरन शरण सुखर रघुबीर सिया पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम शंकर हरि ओम जय जय सिया राम. So he comes to God, left his brother, left his home, left his position of power, and came. And when he stood before Ram, how would he address him? He says, my Lord Nath, Dasanana Kara Brata, I am Ravana's brother. So he identified himself as Ravana's brother. Nath Dasanana Kara my brata, Nisichara Vamsa Janma Suratrata. I come from a family of where there is wrongdoing. I come from a family that are habitual wrongdoers. So it's a confession. Lord, I am Ravana's brother. Nisichara Vamsa Janma Sudathrata. Sahaja Papa Priya Tamasa Deha Jata Ulukahi Tampara Neha. We are naturally addicted. We are naturally addicted to evil as owls love the night. And this is who I am. I'm Ravana's brother, but this is the family from which I have come. Spoke truthfully as he did to his brother. And then this beautiful doha, which we should all memorize. It's a wonderful prayer. Sravana sujasu suniyayehu. Prabhu bhanjana bhava bir. But even in Lanka, I have heard Sravana sujasu suniyayehu. But I have heard that you are Karuna Sagar. That you are the ocean of love. And those who come in your presence are relieved of fear. Trahi trahi arati haran sharan sukhada raghuvir. Trahi trahi means, save me, save me. Sharan sukhad raghubir. I come at your feet. So this is how he met God. He made a choice and placed himself at Ram's feet. And as you can imagine, when Ram saw Vibishana, asakahi karata dandavata dekha, when he saw Vibishana falling at his feet, he at once extended his arm and lifted him, clasped him in close embrace. And then the first question he says is, Kahalankesa Sahita Parivara, how are you? How is your family? He didn't want to know what preparations were being made in Lanka for war. But Vibishana, how are you? How is your family? Living as you do, Ram says, day and night, I know how difficult it is for a good man to live in an evil state, in an evil country. How do you manage? How do you manage to stay virtuous? He asked him. How do you manage to be good in the midst of a community where everyone is practicing unethical conduct? Ram asks him. So, to meet Ram, as I said, Vibishana had to make a choice. He had to give up in order to gain. To gain the Lord, he had to give up certain relationships, certain benefits of living in the state of Lanka. He felt he had to make that choice. Sabari's meeting with Ram was expected, Hanuman was unexpected. Vibhishana was a consequence of his own moral choice. He met God because he made the right choice. The fourth encounter I want to spend more time with is Kevat. Which gives us a very different experience of the way in which we meet and encounter God. God comes to us in our place of work. God came to Shabari in a home. He met Hanumanji on a forest path. Vibhishana came to him, but he finds us sometimes in our daily work. We do not wait for him as Shabari did in our ashram. We don't meet him unexpectedly on a pathway in the forest as Hanumanji. We don't have to leave family and home to meet him. We meet him where we work. In our daily work, he comes to us asking for help. And this is a beautiful, this is such an important katha in Ramcharitmanas. Tulsidas unusually spends about 20 verses, devotes at least 20 verses to this Kevat Katha. The boatman's meeting with Ram, and that's why I want to spend a little time with it, because as I said, when I went to Varanasi last November and visited Tulsidas's home, small home where he wrote Ramcharitmanas, and I stood there and I looked out, I could see Ganga. And I could see how Tulsidas constructed this story, because this was his view every day. He woke up, he looked out, he saw the boats on the Ganga, and brought it all beautifully in this katha. So shortly after leaving Ayodhya, Ram sent back his father's minister, Sumantra, whose Dasarath had asked to accompany Ram. Dasarath was worried about his son. So he sent him back. And by that time, he had befriended Guha. So sometimes there is a popular mistake. The boatman is not Guha. We don't know the name of this boatman. He is just Kevat. He is not named in the Ramcharitmanas. Guha is a tribal man who met Ram in the forest and offered to show him how to survive in the forest, because he didn't know how to build a hut, how to find food. So Guha offered himself to accompany him. So in the company of Lakshman and Sita and Guha, Ram came to the bank of the Ganga. And he needed a boat to take him across. He wanted to go from one bank to the other. He needed a boat to take him across. So as he approached the bank of the Ganga, and there were many boats, I assumed that this Kevat was close by. He asked him, please bring your boat. Bring your boat. Or he could have signaled him, I need a boat, please come here. As I said, we don't know even his name. He was probably one of the many boatmen working on the Ganga that morning when Ram arrived. But this is how Tulsidas describes what happens. Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Jai Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Maginavana Kevatu Ana. Maginavana Kevatu Ana. कहि तुम्हार मरम मैं जाना.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya
चरण कमल रज कहूँ सब कहे, चरण कमल रज कहूँ सब कहे, मानुष करनी मूरी कछु है। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम,
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम।
चूअत सिल भई नारी सुहाई, पाहन तेन काठ कठिनाई, तरनी मुनि घर नी होई जाई, बात परै मोरी नाव उड़ाई।
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
तेहि प्रतिपालऊ सबु परिवारु, नहीं जानहु कछु आरु कबारु, जो प्रभु पार अवसिगा चहु, मोहि पद पदुम पखारन करहु।
जय राम श्री राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
So Maginavana na kevatu ana. So he called a boatman, and then something unusual happened. Maginava na kevatu ana, but the man would not come. He would not bring his boat towards him, which is very, very unusual. These are people who are very anxious to work, and here a person has been offered work, but he will not bring his boat. So we have to assume that Ram looked surprised and puzzled. And then Lakshmana, well, naturally he's probably already getting angry. Why is this man refusing my brother? Why is he not immediately bringing his boat? So perhaps the boatman is observing that Ram is puzzled and Lakshmana is getting worked up about the fact that he is not responding. So then he says something, he speaks. Kahai tumhara maramu mai jane. I know something about you. I have heard something about you, he says. This is why I'm not bringing my boat. I heard something. What did I hear? Charana kamala kahu sabu. Charana kamala raja kahu sab kahehi. Manusha karani muri kachu ahai. I heard, maybe all the boatmen there heard that the dust of your feet turns a non-living object, an inert object, into a living being. This is what we have heard. That your dust, charana kamala raja kahu sabakahi. Everybody is saying, manusha karani muri kachu ahi. That when your feet, the dust of your feet touches an object, it becomes alive. So, We heard that you touched a rock and it was transformed into a woman. Chuata silabai nari sohai, a beautiful woman. Pahanate nakata katinayan. My boat is just wood. It's a wooden boat, and if the dust of your feet can turn a rock into a beautiful woman, what will happen to this wooden boat of mine? In other words, he's explaining further because he's seeing that Lakshman is getting enraged. And this is my livelihood, he adds. So my fear is genuine. This is how I earn my livelihood. And if my boat becomes a woman, I'll have an extra mouth to feed. And I would have lost I would lose my livelihood as well. So I am worried. That's why I'm not bringing this boat to you. I am not bringing this boat because this is all I know. This is the livelihood of myself and my family. Ehi pratipala sabi parivaru. This is how I look after my family. I don't know any other kind of work. So I am not going to bring this boat to you. But there's only one condition, he says. Jau prabhupara avasiga chakahu. Mohipada paduma pakharana kahahu. If you must cross this Ganga today on my boat, I will only allow you if I am permitted to wash your feet. Pehile par pakara. I asked her to sing the first verse of that beautiful composition where Kivat says, Pehli par pakharu prabhu fira Ganga par utha. First, pehli par, I must wash your feet. Then alone, I'll take you across. First part.
पखारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू पहले पाव पखारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू गंगा पार उतारो गंगा पार उतारो प्रभु जी गंगा पार उतारो प्रभु जी गंगा पार उतारो. चरण कमल का धूल तुम्हारी चरण कमल का धूल तुम्हारी छूने में इसके दरबारी छूने में इसके दरबारी चरण कमल का धूल तुम्हारी छूने में इसके दरबारी हो गए शिला अहल्या नारी हो गए शिला अहल्या नारी ऐसा नाव नाव हमारी ऐसा नाव नाव हमारी मैं क्यों काज बिगारूं मैं मैं क्यों काज बिगाड़ूं प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू प्रभु जी गंगा पार उतारू पहले पाव पखारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू चरण कमल से गंगा जी ने चरण कमल से गंगा जी के पावन जल पया पाया पावन जल यहाँ पाया धोकर पाव पिए चरणामृत धोकर पाव पिए चरणामृत कर जाइए काया हमने आके हेवया तुम भवसागर पार करैया लाला जी कर ऐसा नाता मैं ना कभी बिसारू मैं ना कभी बिसारू गंगा पार उतारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू पहले पाव पखारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू प्रभु फिर गंगा पार उतारू
So he sets his condition. If you are going to cross Ganga on my boat, you're not going to do so unless I wash your feet first. I get this dust off your feet, and then I will take you across. Mohi pada paduma pakharana kahu. As I said, Tulsidas gives over 15 verses to this beautiful Kevat Katha. And he's a gifted poet. He writes in so many meters. He composes some verses in the Chaupai meter of 4 rhyming lines. And then he switches to Doha, 2 rhyming lines. But when he has to say something very beautiful and very important, then he changes the meters. And various points in Ramcharitmanas, he goes to Chand. He changes the meter to Chand. And in this Kevat Katha, he switches to a beautiful Chand meter to speak about this encounter between Raman. So here is a Chand from this Katha. पद कमल धोई चराई नावन नाथ उतरियाई जाही पद कमल धोई चराई नावन नाथ उतराई चाहो मोहि राम राउर आन दशरथ सपत सब साची कहो बरु तीर मारनु लखनु पे जब लगी न पाय पखारी हो तब लगी न तुलसीदास नाथ कृपाल पारु उठारी हो। श्री
रामचंद्र कृपालु भजुमन हरन भव भय दारुणम तव कंज लोचन कंज मुख पर कंजारुणम। श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजुमन हरन भव भय दारुणम तव कंज लोचन कंज मुख पर कंजारुणम।
दर्प अगणित
अमित छविनव नील नीरज सुंदरम पदपीत मान उदरित रुचि सुचि नौमि जनक सुतावरम। भजु दीन बंधु दिनेश दानव दैत्य वंश निकंदनम। रघुनंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद्र दशरथ नंदनम। सिर मुकुट कुंडल।
of your virtue also bless your family. And in this case, he's saying, Pitri Paksh will make offerings for our departed ancestors. But this act lifted his family, lifted his ancestors across the ocean of life and death. The love of the boatman expressed in the opportunity to wash the feet of Sri Ram, in other words, had a wider impact on his ancestors. And they all were lifted up by his actions. What a beautiful example. Shabari, as we saw, this outcast woman, had the opportunity that so few had to give Ram, to feed Ram. And now the simple boatman, taking people from one bank of the Ganga to the other, is given the privilege of washing his feet. These are acts that have been done by very ordinary people in Ramayana. As I said, Varanasi is a place of deep learning and ritual. If you ever go to Varanasi, there are dozens and dozens of priests working on the banks of the Ganga. Ram did not go to a priest. He did not go to a Varanasi Pandit to give the opportunity to wash his feet. He went to a poor boatman, sought his help, and in asking for that help, this poor boatman, had the privilege of such a rare privilege of washing his divine feet. Uthari Thari bhaye sura sarireta siya Ram guha lakhana sameta. After taking Ram and Sita and Guha and Lakshmana across the Ganga, they disembarked from his boat and they stood on the sands of the river. The boatman got down also, and he fell at Ram's feet. Kevata utari dandavata kinha. Prabhu hi sakucha yehi nahi kachudinha. And then Ram remembers that I have not paid him. So although the boatman said, I don't want anything, Ram remembers that I have not given him anything. Ram doesn't take anyone's service for granted. He felt that he should have rewarded this boatman. Prabhu hi sakucha yehi nahi kachudinha. But he has a problem. Sri Ram has a problem. He has nothing to give. He is tapasave, she's in exile. He has his bow and arrow and he has the clothing on his back. He has nothing to give. But he's worried that he hasn't rewarded this boatman. Piya hi asiya, jana nihari. Sita saw what was happening. Ram is not saying anything, but Tulsidas says, Piya hi asiya, jana nihari, who could actually read her husband's mind, saw his expression. She knew exactly what was his predicament in that moment. And what does she do? Mana mudari, mana mudita utari. She has a ring, a precious ring, a jewel ring on her hand. She didn't leave all of her jewelry behind. She had a jewel ring on her hand. And she gave this to Ram. Ram takes the ring, stretches his hand out to Kevat and says, Lei utarai. Here is your payment. Stretches his hand to Kevat and says, Sita's given a ring, here is your payment. Kevat, the boatman, doesn't reach for his hands. He reaches for his feet. Now, just imagine this. This is a ring of the daughter of Janak, the daughter-in-law of Dasarath, the wife of Ram. I assume she got it on her wedding day. It will wipe off this man's poverty for his lifetime and perhaps for several generations. A ring with all these precious stones. Tulsidas describes it as Manimudari, a ring with precious stones. And Ram is giving to the Kevat. And the Kevat doesn't reach for his hands, but he reaches for his feet and says to Ram, नाथ न आजू मैं कहाँ न पावा मिट्टे दोष दुख दारिद्र दावा नाथ आजू मैं कहाँ न पावा मिट्टे दोष दुख दारिद्र दावा बहुत काल मैं कीन्ही मजूरी बहुत काल मैं कीन्ही मजूरी आज दीन ही विधि बनी भली पूरी
श्री राम जय जय रामा जय राम श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय राम श्री राम जय रामा
अब कछु नाथ न चाहिए मोरे दीन दयाल अनुग्रह तोरे फिरति बाहर मोहि जोई देवा सुप्रसादु मैं सिर धरि लेवा
श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय राम जय रामा.
What a heart this Kevat had. Nath, he says, my Lord, what have I not received from you already? Nath, Aju mai kahan na pawa. You've given me this ring, but you have given me everything already. Mitte dosh dukha daridra dava. In fact, I am no longer poor, he says. I'm no longer Daridra. I'm no longer a person in want. Bahut kal mai keen hi majuri. I worked since I was a child on this river as a boatman. Every day, he says, Bahut kal mai keen hi majuri. I've worked my whole lifetime on this river. It is only today that I have been rewarded for my work. The opportunity to meet you, to be in the presence of God and to wash the divine feet is, this is why I worked for a lifetime on this river. So I want nothing. He repeats himself. I don't want anything. In other words, his heart is so rich that he knows that there's no reward for serving God. There's no monetary reward that can compensate for the service of the divine. And he refuses. But he realizes that Ram will not give up. So he adds something to his statement. He says, okay, Firati bar mohid joy deva. When you are returning, if you give me something, I will take it. Of course, he didn't, now that he's open that would not, he would probably still refuse. But he uses an interesting word. Firati bar mohi joy deva, so prasadu mai siradhari leva. That I will accept from you, not as payment, but as prasad. Ram had said, here is your fee. He says, what you give me when you are coming back, I will accept as prasad. Bahut keen hi prabhu lakhana siya, and they all tried. Bahut keen hi, Ram tried, Lakshman tried, Sita tried. He will not accept that ring. He refused to accept that ring. And the Ram blesses him as he blessed Hanuman and Shabari with what he calls here Vimala Bhakti, with pure. His heart is already full of love. I bless you with that your heart is even more loving. This is Kevat Katha. Tulsidas asked a very important question after he narrated this katha. He says, here is Sri Ram. This is Ram, Sri Ram. Here is God, the one whose name, uttered even once with love, takes a human being across the vast ocean of life and death. We often compare samsara to an ocean. Here is this Ram, whose very name taken once in love will take you across the ocean of existence itself. And here is Ram, whose 3 steps covered the entire universe. So Tulsidas is recollecting the story of Bali. Yes, Bali became very arrogant. It's a very beautiful katha from the Puranas. Became very arrogant, like Ravana. And then God came to him, but he came to him as Vamana, as a dwarf, as a small man, begging for bhiksha, begging for alms. And Bali saw him and said, what do you want? And he said, well, just give me 3 steps of, give me land that I could cover in 3 steps. And Bali said, no problem. How much can a dwarf cover in 3 steps, a small person? And so Vamana accepted. With the first step, he covered the entire earth. The second step, he covered the entire heavenly world, and there's 1 step remaining. his ego, his head. The third step he placed on Bali's head. So Tulsidas is saying, here is Ram with 3 steps, covered the entire universe. Why would he go to a boatman to cross a river? Why did he go to Kevat to cross Ganga? He who takes us across the ocean of existence and who covered the earth in 3 steps. Why did he go? Why did he go to a boatman? To answer that question, honestly, I probably have to speak for about 2 more minutes. I'll give you 2 points and then I will conclude. The boatman's work on the Ganga, as I said. So we have Sabari, we have Hanumanji, we have Vibishana, we have Kevat. The boatman met God in his work, at his place of work. The boatman was not a great rishi. He was not like Valmiki or Vashishta or Vishwamitra or Atri or Bharadwaj, all the great rishis. He was not an ascetic doing tapas in a forest, mountain, cave. He was not like a learned priest. There were so many of them in Varanasi. He was a hard-working boatman taking people across the river. And in that work, and through that work, he met Ram. Why did Ram ask his help? I think that there is a great message here for us. Ram asked the Kevat's help in order to emphasize, in order to teach, in order to support and to affirm the work of ordinary people in every society, who we often don't see and whose work we often don't appreciate, whose work often goes unnoticed. How many people are there like that boatman in every society? People who serve us with their hands and their feet, but mean very little else to us. We only see them as a pair of hands and a pair of feet. That boatman was such a person. People came and used his boat. He used the strength of his arms to pull the boat and to take them across. But he went unnoticed. He was just a pair of hands and a pair of feet. We don't even see them often as fellow human beings. We don't even commend sometimes or praise their work. We take their work for granted because we regard it as ordinary work. So to answer Tulsidas's question, I want to say that Ram came to the boatman to show value for his work as a boatman, to give this work dignity. God came to him. Taking people across the Ganga is important work. All work that serves human needs. There's no lowly work. All work that serves human needs and contributes to the well-being of others is good work, including the work of the Kevat. And there are so many great teachers in our own tradition who did ordinary work that we don't recognize. What was the work of Kabir? Kabir Das, whose bhajans we sing to this day, and who composed so many beautiful songs. Kabir was a tailor. Ravi Das, the guru of Mirabai, Ravi Das, he was a shoemaker. He was a leather worker. And the one who washed Ram's feet in Ramayana, he was a Kevat. He was a boatman. And the second point I want to make, which is, ties up what I've been trying to do for these 2 satsangs, is that our work can always also be a place where we meet God. We don't meet God, as I keep saying, it is too nice, in temples and sacred places and places of worship, but we meet Him also in our daily work. And this is how the cave, this is also a way of experiencing God in our place of work. When we do our work with love in our hearts, when everyone we serve, we see God's presence in them. Everyone who comes to us for help, we see and we hear the voice and the presence of God. Then that work becomes an opportunity to meet and to experience God. And as Kevat said, that kind of work is its own reward. I have worked my whole life, he says, but today alone I am rewarded. It is not only the priest, the monks, the pandits, the sannyasins who are the servants of God, but everyone who does good work in the world is a servant of God and meets God through work. So Ram came to the boatman to show that his work also is a way of serving and meeting God. It is not that working for monetary reward should be looked down upon. That is not what I am saying. It is very important that we be properly rewarded for the work that we do. Don't misunderstand me. But the joy that you get from your work depends on your motivation. And the higher your motivation, the deeper your satisfaction from your work. These two are not contradictory. I can earn a salary that meets my needs, but I can also perform my work with a very higher motivation. And the higher that motivation, the greater the satisfaction, the greater and deeper the meaning of your work. And Kevat understood that. This boatman understood that. That's why he didn't take that ring. There is no price to be put upon the work of serving, the opportunity to serve the God. It doesn't allow for any kind of material exchange. And Ram uses him to teach this important message to us all. My dear sisters and brothers, these are the 4 kathas that I wanted to share with you on these 2 nights of satsang. First night, Suraj spoke about the fact that we started this Pitri Yagnas during the Pitra Paksh fortnight, and it was a time when people were not getting together for satsang, but we felt that meeting for satsangs like this is also a way to honor our ancestors, because this is what they loved, and this is the text that they read and chanted, and we wanted to, this is a way also of honoring them during this time. But I think, Suraj, that we have to take satsangs also into a new direction, into a new path. I would love, I have spent these two nights, I've spoken about 4 encounters, 4 ways of encountering and experiencing God, the way of Shabari, the way of Hanuman, the way of Vibishana, and the way of the Kevat. I wish that at the end of every satsang, we could sit at tables and we could talk about the katha. I would like to hear from you. We should have discussions. Where do you find God? How do you encounter God? In your work? In your prayer? What are your own experiences? How does this katha speak to you? So in other words, my coming and sharing my understanding of the text and my learning from the text is not enough. I wish we could, at the end of each session we could have good conversation about what we have learned and how does this speak to us in our own life. So we have to do something more with our satsang, which is to give an opportunity for conversation. I don't mean it as a I don't mean it as a criticism of any of you here, but as a general point, and all of you will agree with me. But sometimes, usually the end of a satsang, if you listen to the conversation, nobody talks about the satsang. Nobody talks about the satsang. The topics are everything but the satsang. Last time when I was here, I made a joke, I said satsang means association with the good, with the truth. But in Trinidad, we say, I'm going to asat sang. And asat is the opposite. Asat sang is company of untruth. Company of what is not good. That was just my humor. But I think, Suraj, we have to not only, teach Ramayana as we do in these satsangs, but to have some space also in satsangs for good discussion. We need to build something into the satsangs that allow, within the same time frame, I think it could be done, but it also be enriching for that kind of dialogue, that kind of exchange. I'm hearing so you are not only hearing from me, I am also hearing and learning from your experiences and what all of this means to you. So maybe a thought I am leaving to see how we could,
For the fifth.
maybe for the 50 again, we will structure it differently. And we'll have the tables outside where we will sit for meals.
Yes, we will.
But each table will be a table of conversation also. This is a different way of transmitting our tradition. Bring the young people especially, so that they can have conversations about Ramayana Kathas as we have shared. So I'll leave you with these words, my dear sisters and brothers, and to say what a great joy it is for Geeta and I to be here again this year with Suraj and Balrupji, Uma, Devika, Rajesh, to spend this beautiful time, precious time, this gift of time that we have with each one of you. We are very grateful. It's a great blessing, it's a great gift to us. So we will now conclude tonight's satsang.
We'll share this very moving song. And I'll ask Ranju to translate it paragraph by paragraph for me. To Khadur.
Dear Creator of this world, please take away our pain. Help us quickly, for our boat is caught in the undercurrent of worldly attachments.
संसार के रचैया दुख दूर करे हमारा संसार के रचैया जल्दी से दो सहारा मझदार में है नैया दुख दूर कर हमारा संसार में रचैया
Without you, no one is here to be our protector. We have looked all over to find that no one compares with you as our protector.
तुम बिन कोई हमारा रक्षक नहीं यहाँ पर तुम बिन कोई हमारा रक्षक नहीं यहाँ पर झूला जहाँ सारा, झूला जहाँ सारा, तुम साथ ही रखैया, दुख दूर से हमारा, संसार की रचैया।
We have seen how the world operates, and we have realized that eventually no mother, father, brother, or sister is a truer friend than you.
दुनिया में खूब देखा आंखें पसार करके, दुनिया में खूब देखा आंखें पसार करके, साथी नहीं तुम्हारा, साथी नहीं हमारा, माँ बाप और भैया, दुख दूर करे हमारा, संसार में रचैया।
We are attached to the materialness of this world, and sometimes feel that we have no reward from our hard work. O Lord, without you, there is no one to listen to our story of sadness.
दुनिया में पास हमको हासिल हुआ न कुछ पल, दुनिया में फंसना हमको हासिल हुआ न कुछ फल, तेरे बिना हमारा कोई नहीं सुनैया, तेरे बिना हमारा कोई नहीं हमारा, दूर करे हमारा, संसार में रचैया, जल्दी से दो सहारा, मझदार में है नैया, दुख दूर करे हमारा। So now we'll have our arti. You know, there's so many lovely bhajans to sing, Suzanne, but time has flown. I just wanted to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank you really, really, very sincerely for your presence. You generously gave us your time, and we really appreciate it. And tonight, you know, I really want to welcome some special temples. The Silal Trace Temple is here this evening. Kashinath Mandir also. And my esteemed friend from Philly City, the president of the Ganesh Utsav Festival Committee, Ganesh Raghunanan is here. I saw Suryadev Mangru here, Chandrish Sharma, I believe I saw him in the corner. And Varun from the Sai Center in Valsén is here. Susan, my neighbor in Chogon for 35 years, is here. Thank you, Susan. You made quite an effort to be really appreciated. Like I appreciate everyone. And of course, Rajesh and members of the Patiram Trace Temple are also here this evening. Rajesh and his family. And my good friend Ayush is also here this evening. Yeah, so thank you all. And, you know, we would have sung some more bhajans, but time has flown, so we'll have our arti. Let us stand. आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीकि विज्ञान विशारद सुख सनकादि शेष और शारद वर्णि पवन सुत कीरतिनी की सतत गावत शंभु भवानी अर्घत समभव मुनि विज्ञानी व्यास आदि कवि पुंग बखानी काकहु शुंडि गरुड़ हियहि की चारहु वेद पुराण अष्टदश चाहु शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस तन मन धन संतन की सर्वस सारी अंश संबते सब ही की कलिमल हर विषय रस पी की शुभ श्रृंगार मुँह की युवती की हर निरोग भव भूरियमी की तात मात सब विधि तुलसी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की जय राम श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा जय राम श्री राम जय जय रामा जय राम श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति धीर मारुति अति धीर मारुति धीर मारुति अति धीर मारुति गीत मारुति संगीत मारुति गीत मारुति संगीत मारुति दूत मारुति राम दूत मारुति दूत मारुति राम दूत मारुति भक्त मारुति परम भक्त मारुति भक्त मारुति परम भक्त मारुति वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति धीर मारुति अति धीर मारुति धीर मारुति अति धीर मारुति गीत मारुति संगीत मारुति गीत मारुति संगीत मारुति दूत मारुति राम दूत मारुति दूत मारुति राम दूत मारुति भक्त मारुति परम भक्त मारुति भक्त मारुति परम भक्त मारुति हे वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति गम वीर मारुति गम वीर मारुति गम वीर मारुति
ओम द्यौ शांति अंतरिक्षं शांति पृथिवीं शांति आपा शांति ओषधय शांति वनस्पतय शांति विश्वे देवा ये ब्रह्मा सर्वं
शांति
शांतिरेव
शांति
सामा शांतिरेधि ओम शांति 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 ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ॐ शान्ति 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 सियापति रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय सब संतन की जय
सीताराम. Thank you, Sankhya TV, for being here. You do a really good job for us on your television reproduction. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again. God bless you all.
Nandini's Villa, your home away from home. Unwind, relax and make yourself at home in our 4 ensuite bedrooms, indoor and outdoor cooking, swimming pool,